What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I have a special new thing I'm going to start up on this channel with college basketball. So basically about every Monday or so, I'm going to attempt to get a video out talking about updated rankings and notes from the previous week of college basketball. In large part to speed up the process of the bracketology videos. I do apologize if they're running a little longer. I really want them to kind of stick around the 10 to 15 minute range. I hope this does some justice. It gives me time to talk about some teams. So, and stay tuned for a bigger announcement at the end of the video. I'll be talking about upcoming videos for the remainder of the next 7 days or so. Well, let's go and get started. So, the updated AP Top 25 for Week 6, you can go to ESPN.com/men's-college-basketball/rankings for the updated rankings. We're going to focus, of course, on the AP Top 25 poll. Then I'll get a little bit into the coaches poll. Not going to really stick around with that. I don't really agree with this coaches poll too much. I think it's a bit bananas anyway. Gonzaga, number one. No surprise. Gonzaga has been playing so good this year. How about that win against Virginia on Saturday? Gonzaga just destroyed Virginia. I mean, on both ends of the ball, too. They're 7-0. Their next game is against NAU. I think that's Northern Arizona. Then I think that would be Dexter State. They start conference play on January 2nd against San Francisco. Corey Kispert's scoring has been just phenomenal. He hit 9 threes, scored a career high 32 points. Really good shooting percentage. Gonzaga scores 95 points a game right now. That's third in the nation, which is just, I think, absurd. I don't know who the other two would be. They are allowing a little bit of score. It's early in the year. That number will drop a little bit, I think. They are great at assists per game. That just tells you that they can pass the ball well. They know how to pass the ball. They're unselfish. They do get their fair share of boards. On defense, Drew Timme is good at getting those rebounds. Jalen Suggs has some quick hands. Blocks per game, Anton Watson getting it done. This entire team is just fantastic. I've loved how Gonzaga's been playing all year. Number two, we have Baylor. Baylor, of course, if you're talking about the next best team, this is it, in my opinion. Baylor 6-0. Great win against Illinois there a couple weeks ago. Their game against Texas did get postponed. I would have loved to see that matchup, but Baylor is a very, very strong team. Maceo Teague is the leading scorer, 15 points a game. Jared Butler getting those assists. Jonathan Chachuya, I think I pronounced his name wrong. I do apologize if I did. Great shooting percentage as well. Baylor, 94 points a game just about, but they're only allowing 61 points per game. That's where that defensive effort comes into play. Great assists. Also, they get boards as well. On defense, Jonathan Chachuya gets it done with the boards, and Davion Mitchell get those quick hands, and Mark Vital getting those blocks as well. Baylor, another just well-rounded team, seems unselfish as well. Number three is Kansas. Now, Kansas, I know I've talked some stuff on. I haven't been really super nice to this team, but I gotta give them credit. That game against West Virginia, where was West Virginia in that game? Kansas just took over. I mean, Kansas. Basically their strong attributes, their defense, but they can't score when needed. Their only loss of the season came to Gonzaga in the first game of the year. Ever since then, they've been winning. Close game against Creighton, defensive fight against Texas Tech, and then a more comfortable win against West Virginia. Kansas, though, Agbaji, the leading scorer in the game. Marcus Garrett, the assists per game could be a little bit better on that end. They do pass the ball well, though. Jalen Wilson, shooting percentage is great. Kansas doesn't score a ton. I mean, 79 points per game is actually a respectable stat. It's actually good. They allow 66 points per game. They don't assist. The assists could be better in the end, but they rebound very well. That's a very strong attribute. A team that can do everything. There's very few teams that can do everything. Kansas really getting those defensive rebounds, getting the ball away from their opponents so they limit second chance points. That's one of the big reasons why Kansas has been winning these games as well, especially the close games like against Texas Tech. Marcus Garrett, 1.6 steals per game, blocking shots as well. Kansas, their offense is good enough. You got to give them credit there. That win against West Virginia, though, really showed that Kansas is not to be messing around with. But we'll talk more about West Virginia. Villanova and Kansas are flopped in the coaches poll. You could go either way with that one. I don't know how you really would go about it. Villanova, though, I think part of it's because Villanova lost to Virginia Tech. I think that's probably the biggest number one thing with the AP poll ranking. They did almost lose to Texas. That was a very tough game. They soundly defeated Marquette by 17. They're 8-1. Their next game against St. John's and Xavier have been postponed. They don't play again until January 5th at the earliest at DePaul. Villanova, their leading scorer is actually Jeremiah Robinson Earl. He's doing great, doing good. Colin Gillespie helping the transitioning. Villanova, well balanced. They could do better on the rebounding end, but it seems like even with that, them not getting as many rebounds per game as other teams, they're still doing very well. One could argue that they're facing weaker teams, but Villanova's had their tests already this year. Virginia Tech, Arizona State, Texas. But on the defensive end, let's go to that real quick. Again, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, all-around guy, can really play the game well. Even Colin Gillespie getting on some steals. Those are your two big guys in that team. Without them two, Villanova would not be a whole lot. They definitely wouldn't be what they are right now. They will get their tests though later down the road. Houston's ranked 5th. Houston gave us a scare there on Saturday against UCF. I'm not sure what happened there in the first 8 to 9 minutes of the game, but when they woke up big time. UCF had just came off of beating Florida State. Houston just couldn't get inside the paint. They were getting forced to take threes. I don't know what was going on there. Their defense just wasn't set in stone. Once they calmed down, they really ran away with it. I wouldn't say ran away, but they kind of basically took over at that point. Quentin Grimes is the leading scorer. He's been playing very well all year. DeJuan Giroux, assists per game. Marcus Sasser is the best in terms of shooting percentage. Houston's limiting teams to 54.5 points a game. That is one of the lowest totals. That's the lowest total we've seen so far, and one of the lowest, I believe, in the entire sport. Great rebounding team. Assists per game, they could be better in that department. Defensively, the rebounds are there, of course. Justin Gorham's your leading rebounder for Houston. And then they get their fair share of steals, and they even get at least a block a game with Bryson Gresham gets at least a block a game. So Houston, their next opponent is at Tulsa, then at SMU. Their conference is a little stronger than I thought. You have, I think the biggest challenge is going to be UCF, and you could argue SMU. We'll see. Wichita State, I'm not so sure about. They just took a loss to Oklahoma State lately. Wisconsin's number 6, but on the coaches poll, they have Tennessee and Wisconsin swapped. I actually do like Wisconsin number 6. You do have to give credit to Wisconsin. They just knocked off Michigan State, but right now, as they're playing Maryland as we speak, they were only up at 4 at the half, and it was like the score was below 30 for both teams. Didn't like looking at that too much. They are live. We'll check the score. I'll just check the score here in a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Micah Potter, 13 points a game. It seems like to me Wisconsin's more of a, from the looks of this, more of a balanced offensive unit from the looks of it. They do average 78 points a game. They limit teams to 59.5. And with the limiting teams to scores, some of it has to do with those teams are just overall good at offense or not. I think part of that number comes from the game against Louisville. They held Louisville. Louisville didn't score about 50 in that game. They do get 35 rebounds a game. Wisconsin overall more of a balanced team. Micah Potter shooting well as well. Defensively, it seems like Micah Potter is just kind of the main guy on that team. It's the reason why Wisconsin's one of the better teams is because they have all their players back from last year. Experience really carries in. A lot of the time, experience really carries you through. Oh, I see the score at the top of the screen. Minnesota's up by 13. Michigan State, we will talk about them. I don't know what's happening with them this year, but Minnesota suddenly have come alive in the last couple of weeks. And I didn't think Minnesota was going to be very good this year. We'll get to them, of course. Tennessee, number 7. I don't think Tennessee should even be the top 10. I'm actually surprised they even are. Tennessee they barely got by, who was it? Colorado and Cincinnati early in the year. They didn't even start playing until like December 1st, but they've been beating these weaker teams. They're going to get the real big test of the season at Missouri on December 30th, this Wednesday. Then they start really getting to some tests throughout the year. Tennessee doesn't even face Kentucky until February 6th. They actually face Kansas on January 30th in the SEC Big 12 Challenge that's set to come up at the end of January. I did forget about that. Victor Bailey Jr., the leading scorer. Jalen Springer shooting well. Santiago Vescovi, my bad. Good assists per game. They allow teams to 53 points, but that's a lot of it because of facing bad teams. 41 rebounds a game. This is a well-rounded team from the looks of it. Defensively, what do we have here? Josiah Jordan-James, the leading rebounder in steals per game. Tennessee has from the looks of it too, Tennessee has a more well-rounded team. But how can they carry through with it? Their biggest test is coming up, like I said. Wait a minute, they just changed the score. I don't know. We're not going to pay attention to the scores of the games that's going right now, really. I don't know why I just went 22-10. I don't know what happened there. But Texas, the next team on there, Texas has been very well this year. They're 7-1. We're going to pull up a tab on them. Texas they almost lost to Oklahoma State, but they hung in there. Oklahoma State's one of those teams that's going to be really sneaky in the Big 12 this year. They got Cade Cunningham, arguably the best freshman, among the best freshmen in the country. Texas played really well. Just a great all-around team. Matt Coleman overall leads this offense. It looks like they run that offense through him from the looks of it because he leads in points per game, assists per game. He does shoot well, 44%. They score about 75 points a game. Assists per game there, they got it. The rebounds, 40 rebounds a game. They allow opponents to 62.5. Defensively, Greg Brown leads in rebounds. Good defensive rebounding. Offensive rebounding could be a little bit better from the looks of it. Matt Coleman gets the steals per game. It seems like these two guys are the big guys on this team, and it's clear cut as day. And the overall coaching aspect, Texas has a great coach, Shaka Smart. It seems like Texas is finally figuring it out. Let's see how far they can go. Their next big game is on Saturday at Kansas. That will be a very good game. Looking forward to seeing that. Number 9 is West Virginia. What happened to West Virginia against Kansas? It seems like West Virginia reverted back to their old ways where they just have trouble scoring. They've lost to Gonzaga. They now lost to Kansas. They beat Richmond up. They had a scare against Iowa State. West Virginia, I did talk about before, they do have troubles having scoring. I think it was more or less the defensive effort of Kansas. Kansas has been kind of locking in lately on defense. Miles McBride leads in scoring and assists. Oscar Tshiebwe, good percentage. He really gets in the paint and gets those quick shots as well. West Virginia's defense, not exactly all there either. It seems like they allow almost 70 points a game. They only score about 75 a game, which isn't bad. Anything under 70, I think, is a problem, in my opinion. Anyone that scores under 70 points a game, I don't like too much. Anyone that allows over 75 points a game is a problem. 70 is kind of that number for both of them. I don't know. It's something that I've kind of had in my head for a while. Rebounds per game, good. They're a good rebounding team. They can rebound the ball. I've seen it. They can get in the physical in the paint. Derek Culver, great rebounder. Getting that ball, trying to limit those second chance points from the other team. Miles McBride could steal the ball, almost 2 steals a game. That's not bad at all. But West Virginia, they have to play better. You know what? I'm actually really curious as to why West Virginia just lost like that. We're gonna look into this really quickly. I'm not really trying to do this with every single team. That would take forever. So West Virginia, they did good in the field goal percentage department. They shot the 3 all right. It just seems like Kansas just kind of ran away with this game from the looks of it. Both teams had 11 turnovers. It just seems like West Virginia. Let's see, free throws. Not a whole lot of free throws. More fouls on Kansas. They blocked more shots. But more assists, that's key, passing that ball. It seems like West Virginia wasn't really passing very well in that game, it seems like. It just seemed like Kansas made better plays. West Virginia can have some issues sometimes. I don't know. That's going to be something interesting to watch. Oh, my goodness. Number 10's Iowa. Why is Iowa in the top 10? Iowa shouldn't even be in the top 10. Christmas night, you lose to Minnesota. I repeat, this team lost to Minnesota. Nothing against Minnesota. You can see them on this list. We'll get to them later. I want to double check what time I'm at right now. It's 16 minutes. I'm trying to go through this a little bit quicker. But Iowa overall, I don't know what happened to this team. They can't play defense. They have a defensive problem still. They cannot play defense. They have lost 2 of their last 3 games. And look at the score of Purdue. They only beat Purdue 70-55. That's slightly alarming because here's the thing. Purdue's not very good. And you only beat them 70-55. You could say they dominated the game and whatnot, but here's the thing. Gonzaga, I understand. Minnesota, what was that? Marcus Carr went off in that game. So did Brandon Johnson. Your lead scorer is Luka Garza. No surprise. Luka Garza shoots well. He's really physical in the paint. He's a big guy in the paint. They really look for him there in the post. Low post, generally, from what I've seen. Connor McCaffrey, assists per game. They score 95 points a game, but they allow 74. That's a problem. They rebound a lot, and they have a lot of assists. They pass around the ball a lot. That's to Luka Garza. That's a big reason why their assists are so high. The reason why I said it was alarming how Gonzaga out-rebounded Iowa is because of look at that number. They have 43 rebounds a game. They out-rebounded Iowa. Because Gonzaga played smarter, it seems like. Iowa just couldn't seem to really hang in there. Luka Garza gets 10 rebounds a game. Joe Wieskamp, 1 steal at least. Blocks per game, 2 for Garza. God, Iowa's got to play better defense. From what I noticed, too, it seems like Minnesota tried to... I'm going to take a guess that Minnesota avoided the paint a lot in that game. One way to beat Iowa, to not be in the direction of Luka Garza, try to give him away. That really opens up your play there. Without Luka Garza, that team is not really a whole lot. I can't exactly say Iowa would be terrible, but they would not be the team right now that they are. That was kind of a bad loss for them. The Big Ten is going to be really competitive. Creighton, 11th. They have Creighton above Iowa in the coaches poll. Creighton hanging in their own. They just beat Xavier 66-61. Xavier's a tough out. They are actually proving themselves. This is a legit team. Xavier is going to throw some fits at the Big East. Creighton, 83 points a game, good assists, transitioning. I don't like their defense very much. I'm not the biggest fan of this defense. They're allowing 70 points a game. They're letting some plays up. Christian Bishop, 70% field goal percentage. I want to say that's a lot because of them giving them the layups. Denzel Mahoney, 15 points a game. Marcus Zagorowski getting the assists in. Christian Bishop, 6 rebounds a game. Maybe they could do better in that department, getting more rebounds. steals per game. Marcus Zagorowski get the quick hands a little bit. Ryan Kalkbrenner, almost a block and a half a game. And I say Christian Bitch. I'm just guessing this because I haven't watched a whole lot of Creighton basketball with the field goal percentage, but I'm just giving educated guesses as to why some numbers are higher than others. At least I am, not saying other things that sound stupid. Missouri 12th. Missouri good. They're going to be challenging the SEC this year. Missouri, I like how Missouri has really come about. They beat Oregon. They beat Illinois. They had a scare there against Bradley. That was kind of a weird game. Xavier Pinson, leading scorer. Jeremiah Tillman, really shooting well. Forwards usually have a higher field goal percentage anyway because of the fact that of course, the bigger guys, they're already in the paint. They get the quick layup or whatnot. They're already in the post and whatnot. It just all depends on how your scheme is. They don't score a ton a game, but their defense is there from the looks of it. They allow 65 points a game. They could do better in transition the ball from the looks of it with assists per game, but they rebound well. They're in the top 100 in the country. Jeremiah Tillman, 8 rebounds a game. Drew Smith, almost 2 steals a game. That helps with the quick hands, getting that, really helping get rid of the opponent's possessions, trying to have more possessions overall. But Missouri doing well. Texas Tech's 13th. I think Rutgers and Texas Tech should be swapped. Rutgers has some quality wins this year. Texas Tech, like I said, I have not been impressed with this team this year. I love Texas Tech, but my goodness, one of their biggest problems is the three. They can't shoot the three to save their life. They beat OU by 2? What? I'm just now seeing that. That's not good. Oklahoma's not the greatest Big 12 team right now. Anyway, Matt McClungsher, leading scorer. Marcus Santos Silva, good field goal percentage. No surprise there. Texas Tech scores about 72.5 points a game. They allow 54. That just shows how good their defense can be. They do have a great defense. You can't take that away from them. When it comes down to shooting, though, some of it isn't the best. And they've got to really, there's your defensive stats there. They got to really start getting better opportunities on offense from the looks of things because it just seems like that they're just kind of not there on the offense. Rutgers. I'm going to probably, for the rest of these teams, I'm not going to click on them. I don't want this video getting super, super long, but because I want to actually kind of change it up and just make the points faster instead of like going on each one and making it sound the same. Rutgers, great win over Illinois. But I'll just click on it just to show the schedule real quick. Great win over Illinois. Oh wow, they did lose to Ohio State. Well, yeah, they kind of laid a dud there, it looks like. But it's okay because Rutgers is still really good. Look at Ron Harper Jr. He's averaging 23.5 points a game. They do give up a little bit, but here's the thing, though. They rebound well. They transition the ball well. One thing you could say Rutgers doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of. They got some defense. Yes, they do. What am I talking about? Jacob Young gets 2.5 steals a game. Miles Johnson blocks 2.5 shots a game. How Ohio State beat them, I think it's just the fact they went to Ohio State, and Ohio State's going to be playing tough. This whole Big Ten is going to be so unpredictable this year. Illinois is number 15. Illinois, I think I've talked enough about them. Illinois, they need to figure it out. I don't know where they're at right now. They're kind of just everywhere. They only beat IU by 9 points. 9 points. It was 69-60. IU's a tough team. Michigan, number 16. Michigan, a solid team. They could score. They can defend if they have to. They got some size. Michigan State. I'm starting to get weary of this team again. I'm telling you, like I said in one of my first bracketology videos, Michigan State, I wasn't all on board with them anyway, and here we go. They lost 2 straight, and here we go. It looks like they're getting ready to drop a 3rd game in a row. Maryland's in the lead against Wisconsin. Okay, what is happening? First off, Michigan State, they need to get in. They need to get into the game better. It just seems like they're not all there. Joey Hazler's the leading scorer. Gabe Brown's got the good field goal percentage. Michigan State's defense is a problem from the looks of it. They allow 75 points a game. They score 81 a game. It isn't their offense a lot. They're number one in the country in assists. That just goes to show that they can transition the ball well. But they didn't do much against Northwestern, and then they lost to Wisconsin. There's something wrong with Michigan State. And Michigan State, really quickly, I do want to look at the score. I want to make sure this is correct. If it's going to load, wow, it's 33-16. They are in Minnesota, but still, Michigan State right now, just, I don't know. Don't know what's happening to this team. Number 18, is Florida State. One thing to mention, coaches poll has Oregon at 17. That's ridiculous. Oregon, I don't think should even be ranked at all. I like Oregon, but we'll get to them in a minute. Florida State, free throw shooting is one of their biggest issues. They got upset by UCF. Don't need to be said there. Northwestern, how about the school? School history was made today with Northwestern. The men's and women's basketball team, and I think another sports team with their school, all ranked in the same time period. Congrats to Northwestern. They're playing great. 3-0 in the Big Ten for the first time since 1967. I'm looking for some big things with Northwestern. They're looking good. Duke. You could say Duke doesn't deserve to be in the top 25. I don't know. A game with Duke just got postponed. Oregon, they only beat San Francisco by 10 recently. They knocked down Portland. They've lost to Missouri this year, pardon me. I don't think Oregon should be in the top 25. They haven't proven enough to me. Minnesota right now is looking really good. It seems like they're just like, you know what? Let the people forget about us. We'll just perform. I do want to look at Minnesota's stats because I don't know much about them right now as we speak. All I know is Marcus Carr is a great guard on this team. They had that one bad loss to Illinois. Ever since then, they've rebounded. Marcus Carr is averaging almost 25 points a game. Wow. And he's giving the ball around quite a bit. Minnesota averages 85 a game. They do give up some points. They're gonna need to tighten down on defense like they are right now. It's either they're tightening down on defense or Michigan State just can't shoot to save their life. And from what I saw kind of like there, it looks like they can't shoot to save their life as well. From looking at that core, it looks like they're shooting a lot of threes possibly. Liam Robbins is getting some blocks. That's a big one because you got a big guy in there fit blocking the shot, of course. You really, limit their chances, of course. That's a big one. Virginia 23rd, they just took a beating to Gonzaga. I don't know what else to say about Virginia right now. They just do not look good. You can even argue they should not be in the top 25. Virginia Tech, 24. Virginia Tech still playing good. Ohio State, I don't think should even be in the top 25 either. Some other receiving votes. Xavier should be in the top. You could argue they're in the top 20. Could be in the top 25. San Diego State lost to BYU. North Carolina just got upset by NC State. I'm surprised NC State's not even on here, actually. It wasn't considered. Were they considered on the AP poll? Yes, they had 8 votes. North Carolina's 57. The NC State just beat North Carolina. I don't understand some of these. Arkansas should not even be considered. No quality wins. Clemson, doing good. Colorado, I don't think should be considered, really. St. Louis should have a little bit more. Florida, yeah. Louisville just got beat down by Wisconsin. BYU, big win over San Diego State. They should be considered more. Georgia suddenly made the list. I don't know where they're coming from. IU, UCLA should not have any votes. Richmond should have a little bit more. UCF should have a little bit more. Western Kentucky, Boise State, SMU, Drake. I saw Drake's undefeated. Chattanooga's also undefeated. Dropped from rankings. North Carolina, Xavier. The coaches poll is even worse, it looks like to me. Oregon 17th. Why? Ohio State should not even be tied in 20th. Northwestern should be higher than Ohio State. Northwestern beat Ohio State. I know Ohio State beat Rutgers, but oh my lord. No, actually no. I'll take that back. Ohio State actually should belong in the top 25. They beat Rutgers. Yeah, that's a good point. What am I talking about? San Diego State arguably should not be in the top 25. The coaches poll should have Minnesota a little bit higher. They consider Virginia Tech, Duke. They don't even have Duke in this. I'm surprised because everyone must love Duke from what I know from the past. They have Stanford considered, SMU, UConn. It's a good one. Why Purdue? Purdue has not really looked all that. They even have Oklahoma State, St. Mary's. St. Mary's. They haven't looked all that to me. Anyway, this has been the top 25 breakdown, rankings, and notes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to make this a little less boring. Try to really throw in some terms, more terms in here, make it a little bit more interesting, the analysis. I tried to do the best I can with this one. I hope you guys like this video. I'm going to do one every Monday. Just get some interesting talking points. Helps alleviate time with the bracketology update, because I don't want that video to take super long. I feel like they'd be taking forever. I want to get the times down to 10 to 15 minute ranges. But stay tuned for more videos. Bracketology update tomorrow. Then the video schedule gets more interesting from there. I'm going to have a 2020 recap video on Thursday. Friday or Saturday or whatever, I'm going to have my top 15 tornadoes of the year. That got pushed back to Friday, actually, because it looks like there could be a tornado threat on New Year's Eve. If things come together, it actually could be substantial. We'll see. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, comment if you're new. But yeah, if you disagree or whatnot, or agree, let's have a conversation about it. I'll see you guys again tomorrow for the bracketology update on December 29th. Take care, everyone.